We're trying to understand the locomotion of one of our closest living relatives, which is the orangutan, and also the locomotion of all of the apes and the common ancestor of humans and the other apes. And in that area, we have had a big problem traditionally, and that we know a lot about how they move around the forest. I've been out to the forest and spent a year recording the different types of locomotion they use, but we have no idea about the energetic cost of how they move around the forest and the solutions that they find to problems of moving around the canopy. And what we're doing here is using the park or athletes as an analogy for a large-bodied ape moving around a complex environment and getting them to move around in the course that we've made that they've never seen before. And we're going to record their energetic expenditure while they're doing it.
For a long time now, it's been a widely accepted and rarely questioned belief that a strong corporate culture goes hand in hand with success. However, a recent study has cast some doubt on this principle. After all, the authors of the report argue for culture. A company's build-up may be strong but wrong. There is little point in every employee marching to the same tune if they are all marching in the wrong direction. Also, malaria is something that is a very complex disease with this complex life cycle. That means that if you're going to eliminate it, you have to be able to target cute parasites in humans. You have to be able to target parasites in the mosquitoes, that mosquito population. And so that requires a lot of resources. It requires really good planning and a health system across all these different levels. And so I think the political capital that you need for that, the educational infrastructure you need for that, the economic resources you need for that are quite a challenge.
Belief is the human capacity to imagine, to be creative, to hope and dream, to infuse the world with meanings, and to cast our aspirations far and wide, limited neither by personal experience nor material reality. Believing is a commitment, an investment, a devotion to possibilities. Beliefs permeate neurobiologies, bodies, and ecologies, acting as dynamic agents in evolutionary processes. The human capacity for belief, the specifics of belief, and our diverse belief systems shape, structure, and alter our daily lives, our societies, and the world around us.
The loss of construction jobs by immigrants from Latin America contributed to a spike in unemployment among all Latino workers to 6.5%, compared with 4.7% unemployment for non-Latino workers, the report found. As recently as late 2006, Latino workers had achieved their historic low unemployment rate of 4.9%, based mainly on a job boom among immigrants, the report said. To put it bluntly, Hispanics had a rough time in the labor market in 2007, said Rakesh Kakkar, the author of the report, who is Associate Director for Research at the Pew Center, a nonpartisan organization in Washington. Job loss was particularly severe for Mexican immigrants, whose unemployment rate rose to 8.4% from 5.5% in 2007, the report found. Of 247,000 jobs lost by Latino workers in the construction industry in 2007, workers born in Mexico lost 152,000 jobs, or about 60%. Latino workers make up about 14% of the United States labor force, and about 52% of them are immigrants. The Pew Report, which is based on recent data from the Census and the Bureau of Labor Statistics, does not distinguish between legal and illegal immigrants. The banking credit crisis and a drop in home prices led to an abrupt slowdown in new home building last year. Illegal immigrant workers have been concentrated in construction, accounting for 12% of employment in that industry, according to a Pew study in 2006. Mexicans account for about 55% of more than 11 million illegal immigrants in the United States, the Pew Center has estimated.
The notion that you could create anything at all has major implications for our health. It means that we'll eventually be able to replicate anything. This would have a phenomenal effect on our society. In time, it could even lead to the eradication of famine through the introduction of machines that produce food to feed the hungry.
I'm left-handed myself, and I actually didn't see any relevance to my own life when I happened to start reading an article by a sports psychologist called Peter Matthews. He spent the first part of the article talking about handedness in music instead of sport, which I have to say almost put me off from reading further. But what I soon became struck by was the sheer volume of both observation and investigation he had done in many different sports, and I felt persuaded that what he had to say would be of real interest.
Living in the Antarctic hasn't always been so comfortable. Snow buildups caused enormous problems for 4 previous stations on the same site, which were buried and finally crushed by the weight. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but these buildings became a huge challenge to architects who finally came up with a remarkable solution. The buildings are placed on platforms which can be raised above the changing snow level on legs which are extendable. The main reason why MSG is more commonly used in Japanese meals is tradition. For many thousands of years, the Japanese have incorporated a type of seaweed known as kombu in their cooking, as they discovered it had the ability to make food taste better. But it wasn't until 1908 that the ingredient in kombu, which was responsible for the improvement in flavor, was actually discovered to be glutamate by scientists working there.
So how was this reflected in the design of the building? Well, Harrison decided to create pedestrian access to the building and to make use of the presence of water on the site. As people approach the entrance, they, therefore, have to cross over a bridge. He wanted to give people a feeling of suspense as they see the building first from a distance and then close up, and the initial impression he wanted to create from the shape of the building as a whole was that of a box.
Like, share and subscribe the channel for upcoming videos and also press the bell icon for notifications.